All right, so today's story time is definitely a pretty interesting one. I think you guys will really enjoy it. If you do, leave a like on the video. And there's really no way to intro this other than the fact that this is about one of the craziest people I've ever met in my life. So, yeah, let's get into this. So today's story time all starts off as a normal day in 2016, just like yesterday's story time. Except this story time was in the very middle of the summer. I had this friend that I would hang out with a lot. His name was Eric. Eric and me are still cool to this day. Eric's a good friend of mine. I would definitely consider him one of my best friends. But the problem with Eric, he wasn't very good at picking girlfriends, okay? And when I say that, I mean he would always pick girls that were super toxic or just, not compatible with him. And he'd get into like these relationships that would fail pretty quickly because they, weren't good for each other. So, in the middle of the summer of 2016, Eric was dating this girl. Let's just call her Cassie, okay? Now, upon first meeting Cassie in the summer of 2016, she seemed pretty normal, She actually seemed on the calmer side. She seemed like she was perfect for Eric upon first meeting her. Like she had a lot of the same interests as him, a lot of the same, hobbies as him. Everything seemed pretty good. For once, I actually had a good feeling about a girl that Eric was dating. Now, Eric and Cassie started dating at the very beginning of the summer of 2016, and fast forward to the middle of the summer of 2016 is where everything goes downhill very quickly. So about a month and a half into the relationship, Eric calls me up one day while I'm on my Xbox just playing some video games. He calls me up, I answer my phone, and he's like, dude, I need to break up with Cassie now. I was like, why? What's up? He's like, bro, I found out she was hanging out with another dude today. I was like, all right, well, what do you mean? Like, back it up a little bit. What do you mean hanging out with another dude? Like, was she cheating on you? Was she just hanging out with a friend of hers? Was it her cousin? Like, who is this guy? And he's like, no, bro, I was at the mall and I saw her with this guy and they were holding hands. Now, that you can't deny. That's just, you're getting cheated on, bro. Sorry to say it, but, like, you're definitely getting cheated on. Like, I'm sorry. So I responded to him. I was like, dude, I'm sorry, man. Like, I don't even know what to say. He's like, don't worry about it, bro. I was like, what happened? Like, when you saw them out at the mall, did you, like, approach them? He's like, fuck no, I didn't approach them, bro. If I walked up to them, I was so mad I probably would have beat his ass right there in front of everybody. I was like, shit, man, then I'm glad you didn't approach them because that could have been really bad. He's like, yeah, man, I'm just really angry. Like, I don't know what to do. I was like, all right, man, well, listen. First of all, yeah, you got to break up with her, obviously. She's probably cheating on you. If she's holding hands with another dude at the mall, odds are she's probably doing other things with that dude. Like, definitely break up with her and come through to my house, man. Like, come over, we'll kick it and just, like, get your mind off things. Like, we'll go do something. He's like, all right, bet, I'm coming over. So he comes over, pulls up, comes into my room. He texts her immediately and breaks up with her through text. And honestly, I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to call her and deal with that either. And he immediately is like, all right, let's go do something. I was like, bet, what do you want to do? He's like, let's go skate. I was like, all right, sounds good. Where do you want to skate at? And we had this park that we would usually go to. He wanted to go there. So that's what we did. We went to his favorite skate park and we were just kind of kicking it there skating. And the entire time that we were skating, this girl, Cassie, was blowing up Eric's phone beyond belief. She was texting him like every minute. She was calling him. It got to the point where he had to block her number. And after he blocked her number, everything just kind of went silent. He didn't get any more text messages. He didn't get any more phone calls. Blocking her actually worked. And, usually that doesn't work. Usually if you just block somebody, they'll just make another account or they'll like call you unrestricted or something. Either way, she didn't do that. So I was happy to hear that for Eric because, he definitely deserved a break from her. So anyway, like an hour and a half goes by. We're still at the skate park, having a great time. Honestly, Eric looked really happy. His mind was off of things. We were just skating, enjoying the nice weather. A bunch of our friends were at the skate park. Things were going really good, like surprisingly awesome. And then out of nowhere, Eric gets a phone call from his mom. And he picks up the phone and he immediately puts it on speaker because the skate park we were at was filled with people and it was really loud. And he puts it on speaker and before he can even say hello, his mom starts screaming and crying. Get over here right now. You need to come home. Like, the house is on fire. The house is on fire. And my face just, like, drops. I was like, what the fuck did she just say? And he goes, Mom, what? What do you mean the house is on fire? She goes, it's on fire. Get over here right now. Like, the fire department's here. And I am in shock. I'm like, no way this kid's house is on fire right now. So immediately me and Eric grab our boards, we run to Eric's car, we get in the car, and we speed off to Eric's house. And the whole way back to his house, it was like a 10-minute drive, Eric and me are freaking out. Because we don't know what we're about to pull up to. We don't know if it's like a little fire, like something small. We don't know if it's a super huge fire where like people could be injured. We didn't know if everybody was okay. Like we had no idea. Eric didn't even have the time to ask her if everyone was all good. So yeah, we're on the way to his house. It's like dead silent in the car. Eric's not playing any music or anything because obviously he had a lot on his mind. And me and him are just kind of silently, waiting to get to his house as fast as we can. Now, the minute we got close to his house is when I knew this was a serious ass situation. We started to approach his neighborhood, and I could see a cloud of smoke coming over the trees. We weren't even on his street yet, and we saw a giant smoke cloud coming over the trees where his neighborhood was. And that's when me and Eric looked at each other and just went, oh, fuck. Like, at the same time, we both were like, oh, fuck. So we pull down his street, we're speeding down the road, we're approaching his house, and as we get closer, we see all the fire trucks, everything, and it's a serious ass fire. This dude's entire garage was lit up. There was also a dark spot on the house where it looks like there was a fire starting, but they put it out fast enough. But the garage itself, which was separate from the house, was completely up in flames. Luckily, everybody was outside who lived at the house. Everybody was safe. Nobody got hurt. But me and Eric immediately knew upon pulling up to that house what happened. So that garage that was on fire had Eric's dream car in it. Eric had a car that he was working on in that garage for months. He put a lot of hours into that car, and it was almost ready to drive, and he was fixing it up. But we thought about it for a second, and there was no way a fire would just randomly start in there. Also, it was really weird how there was a random spot on the house itself that started on fire and got put out really quickly. It looked like this was, something that was started by somebody, to say the least. And Eric looks at me, and I look at him, and he goes, I think she did this. I was like, Cassie, you think she did it? He's like, yeah, dude, my dream car was in there. Now it's ruined. I guarantee she did this. So immediately, he unblocks her phone number, and he sends her a text and goes, were you at my house earlier? And she responds with 3 fire emojis. If that's not the most sinister shit I've ever seen. So this pretty much confirmed it, right? So Eric ran up to the police, ran up to his parents, told them everything that happened. He explained how he caught her cheating and then broke up with her and blocked her. And then this fire started and how she texted him the fire emojis. And the police officer already knew somebody did this. He was like, yeah, it's obvious that this wasn't a random fire because one part of your house on the exterior was on fire. And then the garage itself, which is completely separate and far away from the house, was on fire. That's just very odd. Those 2 separate things would not be on fire the way that they were without a direct cause, such as a person starting it. So yeah, the cop was already suspicious. He already had his suspicions that this was something that was, done on purpose. And they started looking into it. And they found out later that night that Cassie had 2 gas cans in her backseat of her car, and she admitted to starting the fire to the cops. Now, it goes without saying, Cassie was arrested and charged for what she did because that's very illegal to set someone's house on fire and their garage on fire and cause thousands of dollars worth of damage. So yeah, she went to jail and got charged. She actually got bailed out pretty quickly after being arrested and stayed out of jail for a long time until she got officially, sentenced or whatever. She actually ended up not getting as many charges as she probably could have because she did this when she was 17 and she wasn't an adult yet. But Cassie still ended up doing some jail time and getting in pretty big trouble for setting his house on fire. So yeah, needless to say, if there's a moral to this story, if you break up with somebody, don't just go setting their house on fire. That's very illegal and not okay at all. That's awful. And I'm so glad that, Eric's family was okay, because that could have been really bad. I mean, it was really bad, but it could have been a lot worse. People could have gotten hurt. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much into the story time. Cassie obviously was no longer spoken to again by any of us. Eric never spoke to her again. I've never seen her since, and I hope to never see her again. But yeah, guys, I thought the story time was a pretty crazy one. The good news is Eric's garage got rebuilt in 6 months' time. He got a different car to work on, and his family was safe. So yeah, I'd say Eric in the end was okay. But yeah, guys, Eric was not the best at finding good dates. But yeah, I thought the story time was a crazy one. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys all later. Peace.